Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my most humble and loving salutations at the lotus feet of our dear Swami. Today, I want to share with you the two principles on which the entire Sanatana dharma is placed. Sanatana dharma is not a religion, it is a way of life. You may worship any name, any form, but you have to live a life as given in the Vedas, which is based on human values to ultimately gain the highest goal of self-realization and oneness with the very source of the entire creation. Thus, the first principle is that the Parabrahma takes on the three gunas, which is called as the Maya Shakti, and as if creates this creation. And thereby, the one who is without form and free from gunas becomes endowed with gunas but is yet formless. But as the creation moves on and we see yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati, when the practice of dharma declines, because dharma cannot decline, it is the very basis of all the values. So the practice declines, and naturally the practice of adharma goes up. At that time, Bhagavan says, I create myself. That is very beautiful because he chooses his birth, he chooses the mother, he chooses the form, and comes to restore mankind back to its original version. So, this is something you need to believe. Then, the second thing is Punarjanma, that every person has to be reborn till he reaches the ultimate goal of realizing his oneness with the divinity, realizing his true reality to be divine. Only thereafter he is not born again. Otherwise, till then, each time he is born, see actually how it is, there are three kinds of karmas. One is the sanchita karma, is like a fixed deposit of all the good and bad karmas I have done in all the births. From it, when my birth is to take place, Bhagavan gives out some good, some bad karmas, then I will be born as a human being. Mixed karmas. If he only gives me all the punya, then I will be born as the denizen of heaven. And if he decides to give me all my bad karmas, then I'll be born in the lower embodiments like animal or asuras or some demons, etc. But born as a human being, I will be eking out both good and bad karmas. In the process, and what is the I do? See, every human being, whether you know or you don't know, whether you are spiritual or not spiritual, has only three desires. I want to live and I never want to die. I want to know, I never suffer ignorance. And I want to live and live happily without a trace of sorrow. These are the three desires for which I keep working. Why do I have these three desires? Because, really speaking, it is my true reality. I am free from birth and death. So, I want to be eternal. I am, see, we have come from Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So, in each of us, the Sat is there, the Jnana is there as the very sentiency, the Chit Tattva, the Chaitanya, which is endowed with all the knowledge. And hence, I do not like to suffer ignorance. I don't like to tell I don't know something because it is not my Swarupa. And I am Ananta, the limitless, and hence free from all sorrows. And therefore, I cannot suffer even a trace of sorrow. But, so our aspiration is right, but we are seeking it at the wrong place. We try to be eternal with this body. We try to know all the worldly things. And third, I seek happiness in the world itself, where Bhagavan has placed one board, Anityam Asukham Lokam Imam Prapya Bhajasva Mam. You have come into this world on which I have put a board that this world is Anitya and Asukham. The little sukha which comes is fleeting. That's why Anityam. If you want Nitya Sukha, it's only one way is to realize that I and you are one. By being a true bhakta. Who is a bhakta? Na vibhaktaha, who is not separate from the Lord. Whatever sadhanas we do, we have to keep the focus that I am divine, and finally I have to realize it. Make it real. But in the process, what happens is we sometimes gather, do the wrong things in search of happiness, and instead of rising up the spiritual ladder, we fall. See, we need to remember the snakes and ladder game, which we all have played, is actually the moksha patam. It was devised long back in India, I think by Jnaneshwar Maharaj. So the 100 there is the ultimate goal, that is moksha. And moksha is not a 5-star colony where we go and stay. It is your own swarupa. Swaswarupena avasthanam moksha. When Swami says moha kshaya, when the wrong notions I have get over, I abide in my true reality. And that happens right now here as we are living. And after that, after my prarabdha is over, when I leave the body, then the final merger takes place. But till then, I have to take birth after birth. Because in this search for happiness, I am not yet reached that state of fulfillment. So once, many years ago, about 30 years ago, we were, more than 30 years, we were in ashram in Rishikesh. And there was a Swamiji there who was very happy to see so many youngsters, all of us in 20s and 30s. So he was telling, but you should be very careful because you have a long life ahead of you. So then we said, Swamiji, why do you say that? So he says, because my life is itself, like a showcase of how things can go bad. So he said, Swamiji, please share with us for our learning. And he agreed. He was coming from a family mother, father, and his sister, and he was the only brother. So 4 of them would stay. So, it's a very old times, because when Swamiji told us, he was in his 70s, like. So now if we have to understand, this story is 100 years old. And at that time, as we all know, India is a Atithi Devo Bhava. There were no motels, there were no hotels. So people would seek shelter in some houses on the way when they were traveling. So like that, his parents had passed away. And these 2 brother and sister were staying in the midst of a jungle. So one day in the night, a traveler comes and requests for a shelter. But the brother says that I cannot allow you because I have a young sister at home. It is not correct for me to take in a single man. So, but the person goes on requesting. He says, I don't want anything. I'll stay quietly in one corner, but I need the shelter. I cannot stay outside. Then the brother and sister think over and they say, okay, you stay on the ground floor and we will stay on the upper floor. And it happens. They settle down. In the night, the girl feels thirsty. So she comes down the stairs and she sees a lot of light coming out from the traveler's room. So she just peeps in and sees that he has a huge amount of precious diamonds and jewels. So much of sparkle and light. And she goes to drink water. The beautiful shloka in the Bhagavad Gita, which talks of the fall of man. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodhopi jayate. It goes on to show further how finally the end of a person happens. So this girl likewise didn't let that thought pass. She entertained that thought. Dhyana she did, meditation of that thought. So beautiful jewels, so many jewels, so bright, so beautiful. The meditation went on. And then kama, sangaha, attachment is born. And attachment say kama. Kama means kamyate, I want it. So that want came. Then she went and requested, why such beautiful jewels? So please give me some. So he says, oh, these are very expensive and very precious jewels. I can't give you like that. Then you're staying in my house. And how can you say that you're not giving? So, kamat krodho bijayate. Okay, so if the desire is fulfilled, it is lobha, greed. If it is not fulfilled, it is krodha. So that's why they say once desire is born, both its offsprings are unwanted. But they will come anyway. That's why we have to be careful before the desire is born. So now here, then a scuffle sets in. She just pounces on the jewels, wanting some to catch hold of some. He has some weapon with him. He takes out the weapon. And in that something, this girl kills that traveler. By then the brother has come down and he says, what have you done? She said, if I wouldn't have killed him, he was going to kill me. He said, why did you come to his room at all? I'd come to drink water. Then she told something. And where is the question of entering his room and why did you do it? Now I have to call the police. She said, why you want to call the police? Who is there? Who knows that he has come here? We'll bury him in the backyard. The brother says, no, it is wrong. We have done a very heinous crime, so we need to report. She says, have you forgotten the promise you gave my mother that will take care of me in all circumstances? So Is there no value of your promise by handing me over to the police? So somehow she blackmails him and he agrees not to report to the police. So faithfully they bury him in the backyard, live with those jewels. But soon the girl develops a disease, she dies. Now this man, all his sadhana has gone. He's not able to do any sadhana. So he as well gets married and they get a son. Soon after the birth of the son, the wife expires. So now he and the son are living. The son becomes of marriageable age, a girl from the neighboring village. The alliance is fixed, the girl is married and brought home. On the day the girl arrives home, the Bharat comes, the boy falls very sick. They start the treatment, they do all the possible treatments, but year after year, absolutely no change. Now, one day, you can imagine the state of mind of this person. He is the one who has become the Swamiji, okay? So he says to that boy, "How are you?" And he says, "No, now I am leaving." "Leaving? Why do you say that? Who do I have other than you? For whom should I live?" So that boy says, "Why? Has all the money been over? Has all the money finished?" The father doesn't understand. So he says, "At least think of that girl whom you married and brought. At least for her sake you have to recover, become all right. She's not seen a single day of happiness." He says, "She deserves it," and passes away. Now, I hope you have caught the point. The traveler reincarnated as the son came and took away all the wealth which was rightfully his for the treatment, etc. And the girl was none other than his sister. And now she had to serve the traveler of the past birth. So this is how the complex law of karma is operating. One cannot escape from the results. That is why karmani eva adhikaraha. You have all the right to choose any action, to do or not to do. But having chosen, you have absolutely no right or choice. Okay, result will come. When they say ma phaleshu kadachana, it doesn't mean that you have no right over the result. You do have a right over the result. The result will come. But you do not have a choice. If I clap, bring my hands together to clap, the sound will come. I cannot say that I will clap and there should be no sound. Then I should bring my hands softly like a namaskar. But if I bring them with force like a clap, the sound will come. I cannot avoid it. And the result may not come immediately. The classic example is of Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kauravas. Once he complained to Lord Krishna that I have seen my past 100 births and I have not done anything to deserve such a miserable life. Lord Krishna says, go back a few more births. And as he goes back, he sees that in one birth, he has set a tree on fire in the night. And all those small birds who have perched for the night, they are blinded by the flames. And they don't know how to escape, they can't even understand, and they all die in that fire. So after 100 years, more than 100 years, the karma caught up with him. The example given in the Vedas, if you have seen in the Himalayas, huge flock of sheep, all of the same color. If you see, you cannot make out any difference between the sheep to distinguish one from the other. But it is said that their little ones go correctly to their own mother. Likewise, the Vedas say, you may think that Bhagavan is so busy, he has got so many people doing so many karmas, where will he remember? But faithfully, your karma will come to you when nobody can see. So therefore, the moral of the story is always be careful in choosing the right action, the 5 Ds. The discrimination is the first, what to do and what not to do. That is all what is in my hands. Once having done the action, I cannot change the result. And that is what destiny is all about. It is only the result of my actions done. And thus, that is the moral of the story. A, B, C, always be careful. And A, B, C, avoid bad company. And mind you, the company is not of outsiders. The company is of our own mind 24/7. Have to be very watchful of all what the mind is, nothing but a bundle of thoughts. Every thought I have to be alert and not let passing thoughts become desires. Thus, I offer this ARCHANA to Bhagavan and am grateful to him for this opportunity for all of us to share our experiences and learn so that one day we may become what he wants us to be, the Divyatma Swarupas, the Prematma Swarupas. Sai Ram.